Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. If you are new, my name is Victoria and welcome to Pembroke Beauty. So today we are doing the second edition in the Avatar: The Last Airbender Elemental series that I have going on this channel, or I guess Nation series. So if you have not watched my fire tutorial, you should definitely watch that. And today we are going to be doing the Air Nation makeup tutorial. So without further ado, let's begin. Okay, so I'm first going to start out with my face, and I'm going to go in with the Colourpop Pretty Fresh Concealer in the shade Fair 10N, and I am breaking out hardcore. It is that time for me, so yeah, yay. And yeah, we're going to cover that up. I don't want to do too much coverage because one of the qualities of the Air Nation is that they're very like youthful and young, and so I don't want to make myself look like too made up, you know what I'm saying? I feel like if we were going to make them into like a more modern time thing, it would not be full glam. They would be more natural makeup, and so that's what I'm going to try and do, which honestly fits my kind of MO to begin with, because you guys know I don't usually wear foundation, so today is no different. However, I will state my common statement. If you are somebody who likes foundation or would like to wear some foundation, you do you. No big deal. It's just whatever your preference is. Okay, so now that we've done our concealer, I'm going to set my face, and today I'm going to use the Colourpop No Filter Setting Powder, and this is just the translucent one, and I'm just going to set my face with this, just make sure everything is settled, because we're going to do a good amount of drawing and painting on our face today, potentially. So it should not be a surprise that I don't have a super solid plan of what I'm doing. I tend to just wing it for things like this. Today's no different. I'm just kind of winging it. So now that we've done that, I do want to bronze a little bit, but not a lot. I do want to add a little bit. So I'm going to just go in, because I am so pale, especially right now, I'm going to go in with just the Essence Pure Nude Highlighter, which I know it's a highlighter. However, it's deep enough for me that I actually like to combine it with my bronzer typically. And instead of getting like a deep bronze, I don't want to do that. I just want to go in with this. So I'm going to do that. And I'm going to go in with my e.l.f. brush. You guys know I use this for bronzer all the time. And I don't have a mirror, so hold on. And I'm going to bronze a little higher. See, you can kind of see the pigment in there. And I think that this will be good because I do want this look to be very glowy. And this, because it is technically a highlighter, will add some glow. And they do have this, I will say, they do have this in different shades. So I just have the original one, I believe. Let me look at what the shade is, because I don't know. This is 10, be my highlight. Okay. So now I want to go in with blush. So like I said, the Air Nation is like more naive, and I'll get into that when I do my eyes. I'm gonna like list off some characteristics, but they are more naive kind of, and like more youthful, so I do want to kind of really blush up my cheeks today. And so I'm gonna go in with the Starfire palette, I think it's just their blush palette, and I'm gonna go into a little bit of this light like peachy shade, and maybe dip into a little bit of the middle shade as well. I don't want to do too much, but I do want you to be able to see it. And I'm just going to kind of blow this out like across my face, because I want it to look very youthful, you know what I'm saying? So into this shade. And these are super pigmented, so just be aware. This is such a good blush palette though. Really, it's really nice. And it has such a big mirror. Ugh, love it. So I'm just going to start by gently dragging this across. And I do want to fluff it. And we're going to kind of use this almost as a bronzer kind of as well. This is kind of that like soft girl, e-girl type technique. Yeah. So you just look a little flushed, which is what I want. Cute. Okay. So if you feel like it's too much and you want to tone it down, take a big brush and dip in a little bit into your setting powder that you use, the translucent powder, and then brush that all over your face, and this will help tone it down just a tad. So I do want to highlight, and I'm just going to start here because I'm going to use this palette. So I'm going to go in with the Zodiac Love Signs, I'm going to go in with the BH Cosmetics Zodiac Love Signs palette. And if you have not seen my full dedicated tutorial on this, you should look that up. I'll link it up there. But I'm going to go in with the center shade, and it's just a beautiful light, a light gold. And I'm going to go in with that and a little bit of Libra as well. And tap that off and then highlight with that in my typical highlighting areas. It is intense, but I kind of want it to be intense today. Glowy and beautiful. And I'm going to do my collarbones and my shoulders as well. So now I'm going to do my eyebrows, and I'm going to go in with my e.l.f. Cosmetics Wow Brow. And I'm going to brush up my brows and make them super fluffy. This is a perfect time for a natural brow. So I actually want to preemptively set my face today, which you guys know I usually don't do it this early, but I'm going to set it right now. And I'm going to go in with the e.l.f. Makeup Mist and Set, and I'm going to set this makeup down. Okay, so now that we've set our face, I'm going to work on the eyes. So like I said, I have an idea of what I want to do. So I want to go in first with a fluffier brush and go into the shade right here, which is like a light gold. And just kind of place this in our crease as like a transition shade. And it's a matte, like gold, yellowy, kind of dusty mustard shade. And yes, just do windshield wiper motions into the crease and kind of blend this up and out. So if you have not watched Avatar: The Last Airbender, what are you doing? You should have, and you should right now. If you know, like, go ahead and finish this video, and then you're gonna go downstairs or onto your phone or into your room and click on Netflix and watch that, because it is so good. It's such a good show. I said this in my last video, but I did not really get into it as a kid, and that was like when it was being released. And now that we've watched it as an adult, we watched Legends of Korra as well, which is not as good in my personal opinion, but it was fine. But Avatar, oh, it's so good. It's so good. And yeah, I really, really liked it, and I cried throughout it, had good laughs, learned good life lessons. It's just an all-around good show. So yeah, I highly recommend it if you have not watched it. And if you did not know, if you haven't watched it, then you probably wouldn't know that the main character, Aang, I'll put his picture up here, he is from the Air Nation, and there are some traits that go along with that. So while I do the rest of my makeup, I will kind of talk about that. But that is why I'm wearing an orange shirt, and we're doing kind of yellow and white tones, because that's their whole MO. Orange, yellow, white, it's kind of their color story, if you will. So now that we have that kind of base color down, I want to put a beautiful, well, I want to go in a little bit, but the same brush, in with the white shade, the matte white shade in this palette, which kind of almost has like a pinky undertone to it, but it's white enough. And I want to just kind of use that to blend out the yellow a little bit and diffuse it towards the edges especially, because I don't want it to be too yellow. Because when I think of air, I think of like light and airy, you know. air and clouds and stuff. And I'm just going to repeat that underneath of my eye as well, going in with the yellow. And then going back over it with the light white shade. Okay, so I think I want to go in with this Virgo shade, which is like a beautiful peachy, like pinky peachy golden shade. And I want to use this on a more flat brush and kind of place this on our lid and diffuse out that shimmer, because I do want a pretty shimmery shade on the lid. I think that'll really step up the game here. So I'm going to go in with this flat, like paddle shaped brush and just wipe it off, make sure there's nothing on it. And I'm going to go into that Virgo shade, and we are going to place this on our lid. Kind of centering it. Oh my gosh, that's beautiful. So I'm centering it on the lid, and then I'm going to use other shades to kind of blend it out. This is so freaking pretty. Okay, and then I want to go in to a little bit of Cancer and a little bit of Leo, which is the gold and then the slightly more coppery gold, and use those on either side of the Virgo shade to kind of almost do a halo look, but not so strong. And then into the center highlight shade that I used in my face. It doesn't have a name, but it's the one in the middle. And put that on the inner corner. And then I'm going to go back in with a little bit more Virgo and just reinforce that on the center of the lid. Because I do want you to be able to see that color, and I think it got kind of erased. And I'm going to go back into that brush that we first used, into that light gold matte shade, and just use that along the edges of this look to blend out the yellow shimmers. So the Air Nation, obviously, they control air as their element, so they can create wind and can fly, kind of, like float, and they are known to be like monks, so that's why, and like vegetarians or whatever, so that's why I kind of wanted to keep this very natural, like not as hardcore edgy as the as our fire look, because that one, you know, they're hardcore. They want something deep and cool and intense. So I want to go ahead and, I'm nervous, but I think it'll be okay. I want to go in with the NYX white liquid liner, and it's a white liquid liner, and I want to do a wing liner using this. So this is essentially like the white version of the black one that I love, the matte liquid liner from NYX, and I have not used this, and I've had it for a while, so I'm kind of nervous. But we'll see. Hopefully it's still in decent working condition. Okay, well this is matte and thick and opaque, which I'm liking. Alright, so as you can see, I did my mascara, and I just used the It Cosmetics Superhero Mascara, and I just did my top lashes, and the other thing I did was extend the white liner, which I just drew a little line, so nothing exciting. So the next thing I want to do is highlight my inner corner, and I want to actually use this NYX Roll-On Shimmer. I used to be obsessed with these, and I haven't used it in a while. This is in the shade Platinum, which is just like a white kind of silver. And so how I like to use these is roll it on the back of my hand, and these are so pretty and so shimmery. It's insane. And I want to take my little e.l.f. brush that I use for highlight, and I want to place this right on the inner corners. So now I want to move on to telling you about the Air Nation and doing some stuff on my actual cheeks. So I've never done this technique before, and I'm a little nervous, but we'll see how it goes. Let me tell you what I'm going to do, and then we can talk while I try and do it. So this is the Starfire Eye Pencil. It's just like a wooden pencil, and it's in white. And so the symbol for the Air Nation is like this spiral thing, and I'm gonna try and do that on my cheek here, like up on my eye. And I figured it might be easy to draw with this first. Yeah, you can kind of tell what that is. Heck yeah. Wow, I'm surprised. Wow. So I'm going to try and do clouds now with this, and I'm a little nervous about that, and I want to do them like across my cheek, and I'm going to try and like do like the top of clouds and then like fade them in, if that makes sense. Some of their qualities are that they are spontaneous, optimistic, bold, charismatic, charming, fun-loving, active, lighthearted, enthusiastic, imaginative, and risk-taking. And some of their worst is that they can be restless, careless, impulsive, unpredictable, naive, and cynical. So kind of like the premise of the show is that Aang, who is the main character, is the last airbender because the Fire Nation took over and killed all the airbenders off, but he was frozen. I'm not ruining anything if you haven't seen it, because he was frozen in time and he was like the next avatar, and that means that he could do bend all of the elements, all 4 of them, which is rare. And so he was supposed to be that person and like keep order and organization, but then he got trapped and whatever, it was a whole thing. So he is the only airbender left, and it's like his job to try and right the world or whatever. So he's really the only one in the first season that you can kind of base any of these traits off of, but then they made a second season, or I guess like a spin-off almost, that's called Legend of Korra, and she's the next avatar in line, and by that point there's more people to base it off of. So I took some inspiration, or like I'm going to take some inspiration for how I'm doing my hair. So now that I've done that, I'm going to take a little bit of this Colourpop No Filter Concealer in the shade Fair 2. And this is pretty light, and this is probably the lightest, most like full coverage concealer that I have. And I'm going to take this on one of my little e.l.f. brushes and kind of like fill in the underneath part and kind of slowly fade it out. You'll see what I'm going to do. I think it will be easier shown than done, or spoken. Take some of the concealer up at the top. Kind of like, I've done actually 2 cloud tutorials like on my eyes. And so if you're interested in those, you should look on my channel to watch those. But that's why I didn't want to do something like that for this, because I felt like I've done it. So I wanted to try like a different way of doing it. Throughout the whole first season, you get to know Aang and how he is as an airbender, and like how they were as a nation, and they were very like fun-loving and like I said before, kind of childlike and naive. But they are monks, so they can be super zen. And they actually live on like the underneath part of mountains, which is pretty cool. Okay, so now that I've gotten the majority of that on there, now I want to take a clean brush and just kind of like swipe this down and blend out the bottom edges of these clouds. So the more I look at it, the more I like it. So I'm going to leave it, and I'm going to go back in with that e.l.f. brush, and I'm going to go into the lightest shade, the matte shade in this palette, and I'm going to use this like at the tippy top of the clouds to make them really stand out, since we didn't have a white concealer. This will help like really bring it off the skin. And it has kind of like a pretty pink undertone, like I said, so it'll be really pretty, I think. And it'll help kind of give it like a more fluffy effect as opposed to like such a rigid one. So I'm actually going to like slightly go over the edges of where I did and then gently pull the rest of that down. So now I want to take that big fluffy brush that we originally used with like yellows, and I want to go in with a little bit of this shade right here, this like warm brown, just a little bit. Really tap that off, and I want to kind of blend that up into the bottom of the clouds so that it kind of has some dimension and like sticks up off of the skin a little bit. So I do want to go back in with this little brush into that darker shade that we were just using, and I want to kind of like go in between to add a little more definition. And then we can blend it out a little bit. That big fluffy brush that I just cleaned it, and I'm going to go into the matte white shade, just a hair of it. And I'm just going to kind of fluff that over top of all of the clouds. Oh, I think it's cute. Okay, cool. So now for the last thing I want to do for these clouds, I know we've been doing this for a while. I'm going to go back in with that platinum NYX stuff, and then we'll just gently kind of place it onto them, like pat it on, and it will give up some shimmer. Now I want to set my face one more time, and then we'll do lips and we're done. Alright, well, it feels obvious to me to do a peachy nude lip, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to go in with the Colourpop X Zoella Ultra Matte Lip in Little One, and I'm going to put this on my lips. This is a nice peachy brownish tone nude. And then I want to top it with gloss, so I'm going to go in with the So Juicy Roundabout Gloss on top. Okay guys, so this is the finished look. I'm actually really happy with it. I was worried about halfway through if it would turn out okay, and I feel like this is kind of what I had envisioned, and I really like it, and I think it's cool, and I think that it's representative of like a modern Air Nation makeup look. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it too. Let me know down below if you like this look, and if you like the fire one or this one more. Which one do you think is better? Do you just prefer this one? Let me know what nation you think that you would be a part of. And yeah, so if you don't already, you should follow me on TikTok and on Instagram, and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up, and I hope I see you guys in my next one. Bye!